Hello, friends, and welcome to A Brick Without a Wall. I'm your host, Laura, and I'm joined today by Amber from Road to Tar Valon. And today we are going to be talking about the final episode of season 4, Love is Blind, called Eternal Bliss, ?
Ooh.
We're going to talk about the weddings. We're just going to be talking about weddings because
I
that's
have
all it is.
I have to say I feel like we did pretty good with our
Guesses?
guesses on
Yes.
who was going to get married.
Oh, girl.
I think we nailed it.
Opening of the episode, I was like screaming because I was like, yes, I got it. Chelsea and Kwame are up first. I was so excited when he said I do. I thought his sister was gonna, like, I heard Barbara scream and I was like, yeah, Barbara, same.
No, I feel like they teased us out all last week with the relationship and just it seemed like it was edited or maybe just like they were showing us bits to make us really feel uncertain whether or not he was going to say yes because we know Chelsea is
Already
obviously
said yes.
yeah. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I think you and I talked about this last week that they were using editing to gaslight us into thinking that our predictions of who says I do as a couple was wrong. And I'm pretty sure we got them all right.
Yeah. I love even in the little thumbnail image, like everyone in their blue and gray, and you can see Kwame's sister in the bright orange.
I
I
love
love
it.
that for her.
I
Love it.
do. I like the decor, everything. I was so excited. He said yes.
Okay, quick question though.
Yeah,
Do you think that this will be a long
stay together.
lasting marriage?
I've been thinking about that a lot because we're going to find
Prediction for
out.
the
We're going to find out
reunion?
on Sunday. I am most up in the air about Chelsea and Kwame. That was the
Same.
first thing I thought of was, okay, it's been a year now. Like the final episodes take place 1 year before the reunions do. They did such a good job of gaslighting me with editing. I feel all the way gaslit to the core about them.
Yeah.
I want to say yeah, because they seem to work really well together. They complement each other. Their families are even all in on them getting together.
Yeah. For the
And
most
that
part.
speaks a
Yeah.
lot, like, when their families were so I mean, minus Kwame's mother, but everybody else in his family was on board, so I
I
don't know.
feel
What do
like
you think?
respectfully, Kwame seems like the type of person who kind of needs to be told things. Like he's so unsure about
Yeah,
everything, it seems like. So he always needs it seems like a little bit of a push. And Chelsea has no qualms about being like, oh, this is how you feel. This is how we feel. Like
she has 0 decision paralysis.
no, not at
None.
all.
She
So
is
like,
hot gunned
yeah.
with decision making, like, she is machine gun firing
Yes.
decisions. I'm
Yes.
more like Kwame in the aspect where I would be, like, teetering. I would be like Paul, honestly, in all this. I'd
Oh,
just be
I can't wait to
teetering
get to
all
Paul.
over the place, talking
Can't
about
wait.
the analysis and the analytics of the statistical probability of all of these things.
Mhm.
And is there anything else you wanted to add about Chelsea and Kwame?
No, I think I'm good.
All
I'm
right.
good.
But that was only like the first couple minutes. So, and we've already talked extensively about them. So, as much as I hate to move on from them, we're going to move on to Micah and Paul.
Can I say something before,
Oh,
like, this
absolutely.
has nothing to
Absolutely.
do with the actual, like, I do's or I don'ts,
Right.
but I associated so much with Micah's dad because I mean, I'm not saying that like I drink White Claw, but if I was forced into this situation, like I would probably be a little tipsy too. And he made the joke. He was like holding a White Claw in his hand and he's like, well, you've put us through a lot. And I'm like, Paul Sr. is legit
I did
funny.
enjoy Paul Sr. It makes a lot of sense too, because they got into a little bit more about like that she didn't think her mom would be able to be there for a wedding day with whatever terminal illness it is that she has suffered from. It was really nice that her mom could be there and her dad could be there, and they seem like such a tight family unit, which is great. And
Mhm.
Paul's family, we finally met his dad and his stepmom, Paul Sr. and Deborah. I'm going to be honest with you, hit me immediately as I was like, huh, his mom and his dad seem like two completely different people. It was just like, okay, that's where Paul's personality comes from, is
Right.
His father is like that. I'm not gonna lie though, I think the most enjoyable part about this was watching Paul and his groomsmen do a full scale success to risk analysis
Yes,
before the
yes.
wedding. I was like, "That's not gonna help.
Okay,
That is
for
not
one,
helpful."
and it was really cute. Like him kind of like spinning around the room and getting every single person's input. I felt bad for him, you know? Like you could just tell. Like it broke my heart watching him struggle like that. Going back to the episode where he had to break up with Amber, it was
Mm,
not easy for him. And like we saw all of this time lapse, him going back and forth and like just struggling to get the words out. And I think he was like reliving that nightmare and trauma of not knowing the right thing to say. What broke me on the inside is after it was all said and done, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but Paul follows Micah into like the other suite, like the bridal suite, and he hugs her and he goes, "Did I make the wrong choice?" Where he was looking to her for the right answer. And that point too, where I was like, "Oh, Paul, like you precious like thing. You don't know. You're struggling here." I think some people could see that as callous. He's leading her on further and, like she still has that attraction to him, and saying something like that is just going to confuse her probably and make the situation worse. But I don't think he meant anything malicious. I think he literally in that second did not know like what to do,
to
what to
do.
say, how to act. Like just
I've been in that position,
yeah,
not at a wedding.
right,
I've
right.
not done that during a wedding. So he has me there. I've been in the position where you want to end a relationship, and it's not because there's anything wrong with the person. It's just that it doesn't work for you in a relationship. And while I don't necessarily think that's at all what he was trying to get at here, I think what he was actually trying to get at is he's just not ready to get married. It doesn't mean that he doesn't love her and he doesn't want to be in the relationship. But this is a lot. Like, this is quick, and not everybody functions in that realm of like wearing your heart on your sleeve and just going
Mhm.
with it kind of thing. Not everybody can do that. You know how I had made the comment about how she had said that she wanted him to answer first? That made total sense why. It made
Yeah,
total sense at the end when she explained that it's really important to her to know that he is choosing to do this, and that if he had said, "I do," she was like, 100% I would have said, "I do." But I felt so bad for her when he was trying to talk to her up at the altar and she just walked. Who really wants to stand up there?
no,
No,
no.
no,
And I
we're
mean,
not doing this right here. We're not doing this right here, right now, in front
I
of
mean,
everyone.
left to his own devices, he could have been up there for hours weighing the pros and cons, but
Yeah.
like, you gotta wrap that up. Do you think if she would have said yes off the bat, that would have changed anything for him?
Ooh, not
'Cause
necessarily.
okay.
I think that we would have watched him stammer up there for 20 minutes.
Okay.
You know how they, like, keep cutting shots to different cameras? I think it's so that they
Mm.
can extend how long it takes people to say "I do," hold you in a
Yes,
little suspense. They would
yes.
have had to edit in reverse. I do understand why she said, like, "I wanna let you answer first," and I do think it was what was best for them, was to let him go first, because I think that she worried that her decision would sway his, and that is not what she wanted to start a marriage with.
Right.
And I 100% agree with her there.
Okay, when he said, like, "Did I make the right decision?" I almost wonder if he's the type of person that just he could have gone either way up
Oh,
until
absolutely.
that second, and, like, I'm just wondering if he would have said yes had she said it first, and I think, like, there's a chance
I
he
think there's a
might have.
chance he would've, but I also do agree with what she did. Even though last week I was 100% against it. They did not give her the time to speak about why she wanted to do it that way. But speaking of surprises, not really a surprise. I would like to derail away from the actual participants of the show and go to my personal public enemy number 1.
This was the next thing
Or Micah.
on my
This is
list.
Micah's public enemy number 1, because let me tell you what, if I were at my best friend or any girlfriend's wedding and that happened to her,
This
my face would not look like this.
This woman said, as her friend is crying and walking out of the venue, says, "I'm relieved that's how I wanted it to go."
I have that written down too. What on earth? Micah, please understand this is not your friend.
No.
Maybe she's just acting out really poorly, but it doesn't very much give that vibe, because Micah is running down the
Mhm.
aisle in a dress that was not made to run in because it's restricting down to the knees. She's got heels on. You can tell that she is just overcome with turbulent emotion. And here she sits looking like this, like cackling. How are
It's
you guys going to act like that towards her in front of her parents as well? Like that, they're already hurting for her.
She's too old to be acting like that. Like, it's such a bad look for her. I would imagine she's gonna be real embarrassed and feel really bad about herself when when this show, everything's over. Like, I don't think that she should be ashamed.
Of treating her friend like that.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. In both pictures, she's just happy as a clam, just
This is
overjoyed
what I wanted to happen.
while her friend is just,
Experiencing the most traumatic
yeah,
thing that she's probably experienced in her short life. Like, she's a young woman, like, there's probably at this point, like, death. That's probably like the only thing that could be worse than being humiliated for the world to see. Like,
that's the thing. Is it's not just like that. I'm sure she feels humiliated by the fact that he said no.
mhm.
And not only that, but on top of it, it is going to be broadcast for the entire Netflix,
Right.
subscriber population to see. And again, I think it shows even more of how terrible of a friend she is, that you're now also doing this knowing it's going to be broadcasted. And you're like, yeah, this is what I wanted. Madam, this is not your wedding. This is not your relationship. She is your friend, not your child, not your partner. This is some of the most wild behavior of the season,
Yeah.
honestly. It just blows my mind that she would treat Micah like this. Are you ready to keep going?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm
All right,
ready.
let's do it. We're going to move on to the national treasures.
Yes.
Yes, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh,
Same.
girl. I'm just
Same.
gonna tell you up front, I cried like 3 times.
Oh, yeah. Same.
Like,
Same.
oh man.
I almost feel like I don't have anything to say about this except for, like, it made me really emotional. I'm really happy for them. I love how well I love their friends and their family. Like, everyone just gets along. Like, it seemed like such a joyous occasion. It was joyous. Them sitting in the back of this little truck with this green little jacket on, they're so cute. She's got her shoes kicked off. Like, I love Tiffany. I love
I do
her.
too.
I
I
love
love both
her.
of them so much. Not gonna lie to you. I am so mad that their wedding happened a year ago and Netflix didn't rent out like the Madison Square Garden for, because
Right?
I would have gone. If they had let anybody who's in love with them
Right.
as a couple come, they would have gotten
Holding
so
up
many.
signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know as though there's ever been a couple on this show that is more enjoyable than them.
There isn't. Hands down, there
I would
isn't.
say
They're the best.
second place would for me would have to go to Lauren and Cameron from
Cameron.
season 1. I
Yeah.
love them, but not like I love Tiffany and Brett.
Mm-mm.
And, we get to meet Tiffany's dad in this episode, and then we see Brett's dad, Herbert, who I love, and he made another joke and I loved it. He said, "Don't worry, I've got the crying towel here if you need it." I love
Yes.
it.
I love how
Also,
things were going so well that they had to insert this, like, whole side plot about him going to the seamstress to get his pants fixed because it was like
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
for one, it was adorable. Like, there's nothing to be mad at that point. Like, special day, let the man dress how he wants to dress and look how he wants to look.
Nobody
But
seemed against it either, which was
no,
cool.
I think his brother was like, "Oh, just it's fine. Just let it." He's like, I don't want to wear what I want to nowhere, but
He said, "It's my day.
yeah, it
This
is.
shouldn't happen. There should be no surprises. This was a negatable surprise." And he is 100% right that he had a custom tailored suit
Yes.
made and the pants didn't fit. And then he met that lovely little woman in her seamstress and tailoring shop. He's so lucky.
Yeah.
So lucky they found somebody who could get him in and do his tailoring. She took his whole pants apart.
Yeah. She's like, "Just go in the other room, sit down, change your
The
pants."
second I saw those shears come out, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's cutting through the whole pants." Like, they are really rebuilding these pants right now. And
Yeah.
that woman, credit to her, that was an exemplary job done, like, right
Yes.
away. It was
Yes.
great.
I like
Tiffany
though
looked
that they
incredible.
I like that they had to add some drama to the episode though, because there wasn't any. Like, everyone was getting along,
There hasn't
everything was
been
beautiful. Like,
Yeah, there's been no real drama with them, just
no.
external variable drama.
Mhm.
It's I think part of why I love them so much because they just, like, resonate together so well and they complement each other. Ah,
Every
I
time
love
Brett
the way they
started to,
communicate.
like, wiping his eyes away, I was like, "I'm getting choked up." I'm like, "Oh god," like, this man, they're just they're so great. They're
The
so
moment
great.
he started crying, I was crying. You know, his family looks so excited. Her family is so excited. His dad came and met Brett ahead of time. Right
Mhm.
then and there, I was like, "Yo, they are both saying yes." Like,
Mhm.
I've has that ever happened on this show before where a parent that we have not met yet shows up like wedding day to meet the other person and Brett asked for his blessing and
Yeah, other way around though. Last season, SK's mom went in to
oh
meet
yeah.
Raven
Oh yeah.
and like sat with her for a little bit before the service, even though SK said no. Another story for another day, maybe, but
Right. The only person that didn't seem to be present was Brett's mom, but she, you know, has some
has an
stuff going on.
illness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has an illness, so that's and Marshall came. Oh,
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot to
Marshall.
bring that up. I was so happy to
Oh,
see him.
man.
He was like, It's gonna be rough for me, not gonna lie, but I'm here to support you." And I was like,
Oh, how wonderful. How I'm so happy for them, like,
yeah,
good for them. I have no doubts that they're gonna be together on Sunday.
no doubts.
If they
None.
aren't, I might break my TV. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I might get really emotional about it for them, like and then we have Bliss and Zach. This is another one that I was really excited to see, but I'm gonna tell you right up front, I included a thumbnail of it. The moment I saw him with his cufflinks and everybody was like, "What's the B for?" And he was like, "Bliss." It's her first initial. Like, I was like, "Well, we know who's saying yes for sure."
Right,
We
right.
know he's saying yes for
Mhm.
sure. Ah, I was excited for that.
I
Mm.
was too. I was too. Like, I'm so happy for these nerds. Like, I'm so happy for them.
His
Her flower choices were beautiful if they were hers.
oh,
Loved,
oh my gosh. The
loved.
floral arrangements for their wedding are incredible.
Yeah.
Like, whoever was doing the staging for these weddings did an incredible job in
Mhm.
every wedding, but hers in particular was breathtaking. I was like, "Oh man, that is wild." Like, it looks so perfect.
Yeah, we know Zach, he can do the cooler colors. He looks good in his navy. That like almost jewel tone purple works good for her. Like it's pretty. They did a
Yeah,
great job. They did a
they
great
did.
job. And it's so whimsical. It matches her dress. Loved it.
Oh, yes. It's so, like, whimsical and romantic and fairy tale, I love it.
Hmm.
His grandma, like, she was so adorable
Yeah.
beforehand when she said, "I wouldn't think it would take that long. I mean, you're a catch." I was like, "Oh, look at his
Thanks,
grandma."
Granny.
His sister seemed really excited. Everything just really panned out for them in the best way.
Yeah, I will have to say though, once again, there was a villain in the room in this episode, and it was Bliss's dad. This guy just
Yep.
something about him. I think this sums it up. So, first off, I love that she had her mom also walk her down the aisle. That was some
Chef's
queen shit.
kiss.
Loved it.
Loved it.
When the pastor asks, like, who presents this woman, Bliss's mom said, "We do." Bliss's dad said, "I do." And
Yeah,
that
I
was
saw
like
that.
such a red flag for me. I was like, she sees like everyone in this as like a unit, like we are a we, and he saw himself as an I. And that's right there. Like you can tell these people were not meant to be together. Like it is just,
I just didn't get why he was making like semi-snide comments as she's about to walk down the aisle. He's really being quite cringe as a parent,
yeah,
but her mom saying, "We'll all be with you every step you take, and I'm right here with you. I love you." Oh my God, I was in tears.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
her mom. Oh man, her mom made me cry a few times in this episode.
She's so great. What
She
a like
is.
she's such a great person.
She is so great and she's so loving. I really don't understand how her mother and her father ever worked in a relationship together.
That is mind-boggling to me.
Mind-boggling for me. I'm like, "How did this happen? It doesn't make
Mhm.
sense." Like, these 2 people?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I am really glad that she had both of them walk her down the aisle. I'm glad that her mom is not afraid to be like, "We,
Right?
sir, we."
Right? It's not even like a question about like what's appropriate. It's just like a manners thing. Like, sir, you were at a wedding. Like,
Like, why
come
are you so
on.
mean to your kid?
Yeah.
Like, why do you need to bully your kid? I don't understand that. Like, even if he's just joking around, you're still like
Yeah,
doing
but
it in a bullying way, and it's weird, bro.
to me, it read like her dad treated her like the boy that he wished he had, like tough love and just, like kind of gruff and not
Yeah.
very emotionally available, I guess.
He seems to believe that snide comments act in like some sort of words of wisdom kind of
I
way,
don't
sir. It doesn't
know.
come across as advice, it comes across as you being a jackass. So here we get to the end, and I'm glad we got to see all of them dancing. Of course, Zach and Bliss
Right.
dance to what is it, Leanne Mormax? I hope you dance.
Yes.
And everybody's crying, and I get it because it's so, like, personal to the 2 of them, and they have that in common, like, it's wonderful. We don't ever get to see much of the receptions. That's
I f
fine, whatever. They should have some parts of this that are private to them
I feel like we were only afforded it this season because
of that
everyone
song.
said yes.
That's actually a big thing I wanna talk about is 3 out of 4 couples said yes, which is wild.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would happen solely based on the statistical probability of 3/4 of the final couples saying yes. What do we look at average-wise per season? Like 1, maybe 2?
1, 2. Yeah.
This time was almost just a sweeping "I do."
I think too, a lot of it just comes down to the people who actually are open to being married, get married, you know? Some people, I feel like it's almost you want to get your name out there, and some of these people are just like influencers. So, are they really looking to get married? Or are they just applying to be a contestant on a show?
That's actually a perfect thing to say because I was thinking about that this morning while I was watching this, is that we had 3 out of 4 couples make it all the way, and in reality, we had, like, 3.5 couples make it because Micah was gonna say yes and made that clear.
Right.
It was so many in comparison to other seasons that I really felt like this has probably been the best season so far because it's had the most genuine contestants on it.
Right, right. Agreed. Agreed.
I wish that they would cast all of their seasons like they did this season because this season having so many people who were genuinely here
Mhm.
for this is evident by how many people either called it quits before they got to the wedding
Right.
or called it quits in Mexico. Last season, I think, was the pinnacle of seasons where I was like, these people are literally here to be on this show, just to be on the show.
Right, right.
I think this season, like the contestants they had really brought that like back around.
Mhm. Better casting, much better casting.
Way better casting for this season. This season, I think, has been the best season so far.
Agreed, agreed. Even with the spicy editing, where it's,
Yeah,
like, a little
even
bit questionable.
I think that they had to do the spicy
Yeah.
editing though, because they didn't have a bunch of, like, wild behavior participants in the
Mhm.
show. It wasn't a bunch of people there just to get their name out or to get into the pool of other shows like Perfect Match or The Circle or
Right.
something. It had people who feel like they were genuinely here to try and find love, to see if love is blind, to get married.
But I think, like, as far as this episode, I was originally like a little bit disappointed because I was like, just one episode for the weddings, but
Now
I
we know
think it,
why.
yeah, I think it makes sense. And clearly, like, I think that they've added little bits and pieces in to pad it out. Like, I really appreciated Brett having to go get his pants fixed. Like, it was just a cute little moment that they inserted. And I don't think on previous seasons we would have gotten something like that
No.
because it would have just been spending all of this time with people crying and running and, like so much chaotic energy. And here it was like, we're going to take a quick little trip to this nice ladies' shop and like this cute picture of Brett like sitting there in his other pants waiting. Like it was refreshing. Regardless, these participants feeling more like ready and wanting to actually get married, it was still just as exciting and just as fun to watch, if not more, because I'm just not the type of person that wants to see these people like getting their heart broken. I don't know, like there was still, I think, a good amount of twists and shocks and interesting moments where it didn't have to be heartbreaking like the whole way through for all of these people who are just like some in it for real, some really wanting this, some who knows.
Agreed. No, I agree completely. And like we had talked about, like in season 3, I can't remember how many weddings we had altogether, but we only had 2 couples get married, Alexa and Brennan and Colleen and Matt. And they
Right.
were both of those couples were still together at the reunion. That was a spicy reunion. Let me
Yeah.
say that. What do you think this reunion's gonna be like?
I don't know. I'm worried that like something's going to happen and it's going to change like my feelings on. I'm afraid of Marshall doing something for me to be like, "Oh, don't like him anymore."
Okay, that's fair. That's fair, for sure.
I think, Josh is going to be the villain or at least the instigator, maybe. Maybe villain's not the right word.
I forgot about Josh and
Yeah.
Jacquelina. I
Mhm.
forgot about them already. It's been a week. Oh my gosh. We're gonna find out about Josh and Jacquelina.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually okay. My mind just completely went to how that's the thing I'm most excited about for the reunion is seeing them. I actually want to see if it worked out for them.
I have a feeling they're going to try and seat Micah close to Kwame.
All right, so
Chelsea would not let that fly, though. She would fucking
we're
kick her off the stool.
speaking of Chelsea and Kwame, so Chelsea and Kwame, we are undecided what we think is gonna be the status of their relationship. I'm torn.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I want to say I think that they'll still be together because I know this sounds bad, but like Chelsea is kind of like, she kind of mothers him. The way that she says, like, we is a way to make him understand that he is also involved in this situation. Because so often I feel like he kind of like puts himself on the outside and
I agree.
I think that he would probably just go along with whatever she says at this point.
I think that them being together is going to rest a lot on how he integrates to living in Seattle.
Exactly,
I think
exactly.
that if he moves to Seattle and he found, like, a community there
Right.
that to hang out with and have friends and things like that, then I think there's a higher probability of them being together still.
And Chelsea's such a go-getter, like, I could see her arranging play dates for him, like, "You need friends, like, get your ass, get in the car, we're going to the
I don't
soccer
see
fields
that
or something."
I don't see that as a bad thing, like, to
No.
get him out there and get him integrated into the move.
Yeah.
I mean, I just realized we're not gonna have to worry about if Paul moves to Arizona, but do you think that they'll still be together? I'm asking because every time I Google search something about Love is Blind season 4, the first, like, hot search that comes up from Google is, "Are Micah and Paul still together?"
I I
I
have
don't
not
explore them.
looked.
I don't explore. I don't look.
I have not looked, but I would say no.
There was a moment in the bridal suite where I thought that they were gonna have a real discussion about what just happened, but then her friends kind of flooded in. But I don't know if I see them as working past that and still being together, but I could be wrong. Who knows?
I just don't see Micah coming back from that. Like she seems like she's a pretty like proud gal, you know? Like I don't think that she would want to go back to that after all of the.
I think it would be hard for anyone to come back from that.
Yeah, yeah,
With
yeah.
no discussion up front. If I were on this show and I were Micah and I were seeing Paul and, like, there has to be time when they're off camera. It
Right.
cannot be 24 hours a day. If he had come to me ahead of time and been like, "Look, I don't know about us getting married. Can we talk about this?" And if we had, planned ahead of time for this kind of thing, that's one thing where, like, if we already have it in, like, an agreement that, like, maybe we
Mhm.
can still try but just not get married. I don't think that's unfair for a couple on the show to say, "We wanna keep having the relationship, but we don't want to legally bind the relationship right now."
Right. And we've had that in previous seasons. That's what happened
Like
with
SK and
SK and
Raven.
Raven. Yeah.
All honesty, that really worked out for Raven, but I don't know how that would work out for Micah and Paul.
I think as soon as she brought up the thing, like, so what we're gonna do, like, we'll go back and forth between Arizona and Seattle. And like, she made that choice right there for the both of them. You could kind of see him be like, well, but I don't know with him. Like, obviously, he really likes to think about his choices, but at the same time, he doesn't seem to have that paralysis with other things from what it seems like. It was a Micah thing. Like there was obviously something there and all of his fears were legitimate because I think at least from what they showed us, I had those same fears for them.
And he did reference, like, that he thinks it's a defense mechanism where in these moments that he wanted her to confirm how she felt. She was either flippant or whimsical about it, and to him that then he would in turn do the same things to her, and that leads you to exactly where they are. I don't dislike Micah as much as I did originally,
Same, same.
but I hope that they make, the best of it, whether it's together, separate, however, maybe she'll show up with a whole man.
That would be fun.
I do wonder what participants are gonna show up in relationship.
I
And
think
then we
that would be so much fun though if they're like, "And bring your significant other,"
Yeah, do
whoever
it.
they might be.
Let's have a good time. I think we both would like Tiffany and Brett to still be together.
Oh yeah.
I'll cry if they're not. Same for Bliss and Zach, honestly. I hope that
Cancel
they're
my
still
Netflix
cancel my
subscription.
Netflix. Yeah, cancel my Netflix. I'm done. I cannot. All right, so let's crown a Smaug for this episode. Let's hear it. Who's your
Should we tell people that haven't watched previous videos what that even
Oh,
means?
yeah, we
Just in
probably should.
case.
I am obsessed with Smaug the dragon from Lord of the Rings. He is the most fantastic character in the fantasy realm, and not because he's terrible and evil, but because he's so over the top at every moment.
Okay, I have to preface my smog choice, Laura. I'm just really it's not really much of a smog as much of it is like I just really fucking appreciated this character and I feel like they're the MVP of the episode.
All right, so the Smaug, the most over the top, enjoyable character, because that's what the Smaug award is for. You don't have to be terrible, you just gotta be big personality and really bring the pizzazz. Let's hear it. Who is it?
It was the little like Eastern European seamstress for me. Like
Really?
she was the MVP. Like
She was. She really was the MVP of this episode.
she she came in clutch at the last minute and she made Brett and Tiffany the best couple their wedding day. Like that was the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
She
she
saved the
did.
day,
She did
saved the
save the day,
wedding.
definitely. I'm still gonna go with Barbara.
Yeah, I
The
love
scream
Barbara.
in the wedding. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I
she
love
was
it.
great.
I love Barbara so
She's
much.
she's more of a real smog. My smog choice was just like likability
Yeah, like,
almost.
oh yeah, the seamstress was amazing.
Mhm.
She definitely came in clutch, but I still gotta give it to Barbara
She's great.
because I just love her. She's wonderful and she's so excited all the time. I love it. I am excited for the reunion.
Yes. I feel like that's gonna be where all of the chaos happens,
Yeah, because there
and
hasn't been a lot of chaos.
mm-mm.
Not whatsoever. In reality, all of the spicy editing probably was born of not so spicy footage.
Yeah, agreed,
Think about
agreed.
all the previews up to this episode.
Mhm.
They're trying to make it look like Tiffany and Brett didn't get married. How dare they? I knew it was all lies.
There's no way. They're
No
great.
way.
I will be
But
shocked, bamboozled, stumped, floored if for some reason they are not together.
well, don't forget, I said last week and I'll say it again. I'm canceling Netflix
Mhm.
if Tiffany and Brett don't make it.
Yeah, and if
Netflix
they're
itself has got to go.
yeah, and if they are still together, then Netflix is not doing their duty as a streaming platform by not giving them,
A
like, their
show.
own show.
Yeah.
I would
I
watch.
would 10 out of 10 watch their show.
Or if it was, like, their wedding reunion, like,
Ooh.
televise it, like,
Yeah.
their one-year anniversary.
Yes.
Madison Square Garden, there you go.
Yes. We'll all go. We're gonna
Yes,
all go and cheer them on.
yes.
Everybody who loves them will show up and cheer them on. Signs, fanfare, the whole 9
Glitter
yards.
paint, yes.
Yes, everything. But with that, I think we're gonna wrap it up for this episode. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and then join us again in a couple days for the reunion
Yes,
episode. It should be
yes.
exciting.